Alright, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 6-1, and we start learning about fractions today, which is kind of exciting, something I love to teach, because fractions are really hard. They're easy to learn, but they're hard to, I guess they're hard to understand at first. But once you understand them, everything else kind of flows, and when you can go through life and really understand fractions, it makes math in this world a little bit easier. So, we're just going to roll through the workbook pages today. In whole group, we're going to do some activities and creating our own little fraction bars, but let's turn to page 190. Let's have a look at the page here. 195. And we're going to start to talk about fractions. So, sums of fractions. This is what we're going to start with. A unit fraction represents one equal part of a whole. A unit fraction has a numerator of 1. The unit fraction, 1 over d, is one of d equal parts, meaning d will, the denominator, will equal the number of equal parts that the whole is broken into. So the fraction bar below is divided into 6 equal parts, or sixths. Each part is one of the 6 equal parts, or 1 over 6, 1/6. So this bar hasn't broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 equal parts in here. Equal is the most important thing, because in order to be real fractions, they have to be equal. So a fraction is the sum of unit fractions. The fraction n over d is the sum of n copies of 1d. It's a sum of n copies. 1 copy, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, n is numerator. The numerator is the number of unit fractions in the fraction. Denominator is the number of equal parts in the whole. Okay, so this whole strip here is broken into 6, so that's why the denominator is 6. And we're talking 1/6 right now because it is the 1 is the number of a unit fraction in the fraction. See, these are all 1/6. Each of these are 1/6. So they each are a unit fraction of the whole. So the fraction 5/6 is the sum of 5/6. Okay, it's a sum of 1/6 plus 2 plus another 6 plus another 6, 6, 6. That equals 5/1/6, or 5 times 1/6. So when you add them all, I've noticed some of you on your pretest, when you added fractions, you would add the denominator each time. You do not add the denominator. As long as the denominator is the same, which it is in all these, your answer will have the denominator as the same as it was when you added them all. All you would add is the numerator up top. So you have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, which equals 5. So that's why you get your 5/6. Or you could just take 5 and times it by 5/6, or times it by 1/6, and the 5 times 1 equals 5, and the numerator stays 6. So those are some ways that you could do it. So let's go on to these down below, and it says fold your fraction strips. Don't worry about your fraction strips. We're going to make them in our small group. Okay, so write the fraction each sum represents. You should be able to look at this and just know the answer. First thing I want you to notice is 1/3 plus 1/3. So because the denominator is the same, the answer will have the denominator as 3, because the answer will stay the same too. You are just basically adding the numerators. So you get 2/3 there. Number 2, denominator is the same on all these, so the answer will have the denominator of 8. And you just add the top. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. There's 5 1s, so that's 5/8. I want you to try number 3 and number 4 on your own. So pause it, and then unpause it, and we'll work on them together. Okay, so hopefully you realize the denominator is the same in number 3. So the answer will have the same denominator, 4. You're basically adding the numerators. 1 plus 1 is 2. Same thing with number 4. The denominators are all 6. So the numerators, you just add the numerators up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 6. Okay, number 5, 6, and 7, I want you to do on your own too, and then unpause it. All right, hopefully you notice that the denominator is the same on all those, so you can add everything on top. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 twelfths. Here you have 12 again as a denominator. Then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get 8 twelfths. Here, denominator stays the same, so it does in your answer too. Then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you get 7 eighths. Adding fractions is really easy as long as the denominator is the same. If it's not the same, if it's different, that's something we'll learn down the road of how to make it the same. Because you can change it, you can change fractions. You can change them around to make them equal the same, but look differently. That's something we'll learn down the road. So I want you to turn to the next page. And this talks about our fraction strips and fraction bars. It says describe at least 3 patterns you see in the fraction bars below. Okay? This first fraction bar equals a 1. It equals a whole. Because there's no units, there's no parts into it. This is the whole. But as you go down, each of these fractions as a whole equal our top bar, the 1. So here we get 2 out of 2. That means that there are 2 unit fractions, 2 unit fractions, and there are 2, and the whole is broken into 2 equal parts. Here it is 3 unit fractions, because we have 3, and it's broken into 3. The whole is broken into 3 parts. Here you get 4 parts, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. What it's doing is breaking the whole, this, into equal parts. Okay, then the unit fraction is one of those equal parts. So if we jump down to the last one, 12 twelfths, that means that the whole has been broken into 12 equal parts, and right now we're looking at all 12 of them. Okay, we're looking at 12 unit fraction. Here's 1 unit fraction, 2 unit fractions, 3, 4. When you add them all up, you get your 12 out of 12, which would equal 1, which would equal your whole. Okay, so hopefully you're understanding that. Put that page aside, turn to the next page. We're not going to worry about putting stuff on the top of that page. Okay, so we're going to talk about, excuse me, a sum of unit fractions. It says shade the fraction bar to show each fraction. Then write the fraction as a sum of unit fractions and as a product of a whole number and a unit fraction. The first one is done for you. Number 9 says 3/4 is 1 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Okay? Because that's what it tells you. When it says 3/4, that means there are 1 plus 1 plus 1, and it's going to be 4 on the bottom of each of these as the denominator, because that stays the same. And it equals the same as 3 times 1/4, because 3 times the 1 gives you a 3, and then the 4 stays the same. You do not multiply 3 times 4. I know some of you are going to want to. So, number 10 says 3/8. 3/8 would equal 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, and it would also equal 3 times 1/8. And if I were to shade them, I would just shade 3 of them. Next one says 5/5. So it talks about all 5 of them. So it would be 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. Because then that is all 5/5. So it equals 5 times 1/5. What's 5 times 1? 5. Then you put the denominator down that was already there. You do not multiply 5 times the 5. And it gives you 5/5. If you were to shade it, you would shade the whole thing. Okay, the next one. I want you to work on 12, 13, 14 on your own, and then unpause them and we'll go over them. Okay, so hopefully you said 2/12 is equal to 1/12 plus 1/12, or is also equal to 2 times 1/12. And if you shaded them, you would just shade 2 of them. 2 of the 12. Okay, next one, 4/7. We have 1/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7 plus 1/7, which equals 4 times 1/7. There's your 4/7, If you shaded them, you'd have 4 of the 7ths. Notice I'm not changing the denominator on any of these, because the denominator is telling you how many the whole is broken up into. Do not change it. Okay, unless you have to. There will be later down the road multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, where they're not the same, where you have to make them the same, and we'll get there. So the last one, 7/9 would be 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9. It's sloppy, I know, plus 1/9, but you get the idea, which equals 7 times 1/9. And if you shade them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so let's go to the last page. And this is something you're going to be working on in your independent station. It's fractions as parts of a whole. John, this is similar to what we did with our plickers. John made a large sandwich for 6 people in his family. He asked his father to help cut them into 6 equal pieces. That's what you have to know. To do this, they made a paper cutting guide that is as long as the sandwich. John folded the paper into 6 equal parts, and his father used it to cut the sandwich in equal pieces. Number 15 says, if each person ate 1 piece of the sandwich, what fraction of the sandwich did each person eat? Okay, there's 6 people. Okay, there's 6 people eating 6 pieces. Okay, so if each person ate 1 piece, they're all eating what? 1/6 of the sandwich, because eating 1 out of the 6. They're the 1 unit fraction, eating 1 piece of the 6. That's what this tells you, 1 of the 6. Number 16. How many pieces of the whole sandwich did John's mother and father eat together? Remember, mother and father. That's just 2 people. Okay? So, if it's 2 people, they ate 2 of the 6, because 1/6 plus 1/6 will equal 2/6. So that's 2 of the 6. Okay, so if you have time, work on the next 3 on your own, and then if not, work on it on your independent station.